Before I begin my remarks, I want to acknowledge the accident we're just beginning to learn about that took place at a training area near West Point. As you have already mentioned, Mr. President, there have been reports of a tactical vehicle carrying at least 20 cadets flipping over.
Order in the chamber, please.
With at least one cadet lost. As we remember the heroes of the past, it's also important to keep those serving today at home and overseas in our thoughts and prayers. I rise, Mr. President, to commemorate one of the greatest military accomplishments in the history of the world and to honor the brave soldiers of the Allied forces in World War II who sacrificed so much to safeguard our freedom. On this day in 1944, 75 years ago today, 5 infantry divisions, 2 American, 2 British, and 1 Canadian, stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, and changed the course of human history. Planned for more than 2 years and led by United States Major General Omar Bradley and British General Miles Dempsey, the invasion was supported by an overwhelming force. More than 13,000 fighter, bomber, and transport aircraft that flew over 200,000 sorties. 6,500 ships and landing aircraft, which landed nearly 200,000 vehicles, and 600,000 tons of supplies in the first 3 weeks of the operation. Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces, General Dwight D. Eisenhower, set the date for the invasion on May 17th, nearly 3 weeks in advance, for June 5th, not June 6th. But as troops began embarking from English ports for Normandy, an armada of 3,000 landing crafts, 2,500 ships, and 500 naval vessels, bad weather set in, threatening dangerous landing conditions. After intense debate, the commanders decided on a 24-hour delay, requiring the recall of some of the ships already at sea. On June 6th, the following day, the operation moved ahead, and by June 12th, the American forces were able to capture Carentan, a small rural town near the northeastern base of the French Cotentin Peninsula. By June 28th, the last bastion in the heavily fortified city of Cherbourg fell, and the clearance of the port began. By September 1944, all but a fraction of France had been liberated, and British and Canadian forces occupied Belgium, part of the Netherlands, and had reached the German frontier. Today, we look back and give thanks for these soldiers who risked and gave their lives so we could continue enjoying the freedom that we have today. We remember the leadership of the President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief and a New York State Senator, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who took decisive action to fight the greatest threat the world has ever faced. It reminds us, especially during the international climate of isolationism and nationalism that exists today, the importance of global alliances. It also should be a reminder that the threat of extremism, Nazism, and hate continues to exist today. And we must do everything we can as a country and international community to fight against intolerance, anti-Semitism, and bigotry. Today, let us celebrate the tremendous victory of the Allied forces on June 6, 1944, and use that historic moment to give us strength as Americans to ensure the forces that perpetuated the evil of World War II never rise up again. With that, Mr. President, I vote aye.